Hey, world. Just trying to fix my headset here. I don't know what's going on. It's driving me nuts, and I really never know how loud I'm talking when I'm on it, so I try to leave one ear uncovered. Doesn't always work, and I'm always turning things the wrong way. Oh, there we go. Um, it's been a crazy day. Have you ever just been so busy overthinking, so busy not noticing what's in front of you that you get a gut punch and everything just makes sense? That happened to me 14 minutes ago. Um, I mean, in the best way possible. So it's not like a negative at all. It's ironic, right? I think sometimes we get so caught up in what we're building that we forget to notice how it's being built and the positives that are happening every step of the way, right? Like since last Wednesday, things have just been lining up for me, and I haven't even taken a moment to notice in every aspect of my life, every single aspect. All the work I've been doing, all the efforts I've been putting in. Yeah, I think it's more I'm not being present. I am that busy, but I'm always that busy. So it's more about, hey, Rhonda, how are you? It's more about just, I haven't been that present. And I didn't even really realize that until I just got that gut punch. It was the most ironic, funniest thing I've ever had in my life happen to me. And there's so many pieces of our lives that can grab us, hold us, and consume us. I don't want to say consume because I think that's a negative connotation. I think it's not really consume. It's more like I don't want to say obsessed because obsessed is wrong too. It's not focus. How about that? Takes our focus, and we miss all the other pieces while they're just falling in place without any effort because the energy's been put there already, and we've already done the work. And the one thing that we focus so hard on is falling in place also, but we're not noticing it because we're so focused on it. I'll tell you, overthinking's fun, isn't it, Rhonda? Nobody yawn. Oh, yeah. Oh, excuse me. It's like it doesn't matter what time I go to bed, what time I wake up. I barely get any time to myself these days. The time change, for some reason, okay, my kids now, instead of getting up an hour earlier, they're getting up 3 hours earlier than they were. So me being, in my routine, waking up early, doing all these great things, getting everything done. Now I like have to do magical rooms in the morning to try and find a room to do my routine with a little bit of peace. It is just so funny, and the suffocation starts sooner. I mean, the clock's changed an hour, and my kids think it's three, 3 hours. Um, so I'm trying to adjust my schedule again and get up a little bit earlier. Even soon, I'm just going to sleep during the day if possible somehow. Um, I'll turn into a bat. Could be a good look for me. I mean, with the headset on, I probably could cover it. So you just never know where you're going to be, right? I think, and this is probably good for you too, Rhonda, and anybody else who ever listens to this, because it's probably good for everyone. When we get so focused on one aspect of our life and we've put the right intentions into every other one, I think we need that person in our lives that can literally punch us in the gut and say, take a step back for a second because everything is falling in place for you. Why won't you friggin' notice it? Like everything is. And I've been an ungrateful little brat, to put it mildly. Not that I've had tyrants about it, not that, but I haven't been grateful for it. And I haven't focused on all the positives, like, yeah, I focus on my son's anger. I focus on, the damage to my kids and what they've been going through. And I see all of those things, right? I mean, those are obvious because you have to interact with them daily. I mean, but I don't notice his growth. I don't notice the fact that he spends almost half his day laughing now, right? And the progress that he's making, that he smiles more, he's hugging, he's more affectionate. Yes. See, and I'm very good at doing that for others. I'm very grateful that I have others to do it for me. Um, but I really haven't noticed those things. Looking back at today, he had one period of time that he had like a excuse me, a mini meltdown. And the rest of the day, even going to class this morning, he was a pretty happy kid. And if you really think about 8 months, what he's done in 8 months and how he's changed, and it's because of the change I did within me that inspired him to do the change within him, right? I have a friend in the same one that actually did the gut check for me today. I have a friend who has a child that she takes care of. That's her daughter. She adopted. And her daughter noticed that the days that she meditates, and the days that I call her to meditate and all those things, um, she's in a better spot. So her daughter asked her this morning if she can meditate with me because she wants to try it. And I think that's when you realize the impact that you're having on people and those around them, right? And yes, he definitely will continue to grow and change and heal. He'll be better when we're out of here and in a healthier and better environment for him, where he has more support and more family, as will I, and more people around, and just in a place that we're meant to be. I just also know that right now is not the right time. We're not there yet, but we're getting much closer. Um, it, but back to this because this is so important. Sometimes, like I do my gratitudes every day. I write most days. As things come up, I write them down. Doesn't matter if it's one day I write enough for 10 days or one day I barely write anything. But it's the habit of doing so. And I read and I meditate and I pray and I exercise. And it's like my weight, right? Like people that haven't seen me since I left Florida, they're like, "You've lost a lot of weight," and I'm like, I guess I'm just getting healthier, right? Like I'm not looking, I don't have a scale. I'm not looking at a number on a scale. I just know that when I took my kids to the doctors a few weeks ago, I weighed myself, and I know that my clothes fit me better now, so I'm probably down more weight. Um, and I've spent the last 20, 25 years of my life in this same 20 to 25 pound weight range, which is a 10, at the point at that time when I started this, I was between 255 and 260. So it was about a 10% swing in my weight, which I think is pretty normal. Um, but like I'm looking at this and today I noticed it, right? Like I put on the shirt that I'm wearing today, which was a gift from somebody. And when I first got it, it was tight. It was fitting and it was so awkward to me. And I didn't like the way it fit. I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. Now it's getting loose and it's not the way I like to wear my clothes anymore. And as I'm losing weight, my belly's going down, so shirts seem longer and all that fun stuff, right? Now, I almost want to buy smaller clothes just because I'm uncomfortable with how baggy it is on me now. I got used to being my genuine self and being who I am and accepting who I am, right? And being comfortable in my own skin. And now I'm looking at it and it's like I'm uncomfortable because it's not fitting the way I want it to anymore. So, but these are things that we don't notice unless we take a step back, right? And, yes, I mean, I always make jokes that I was the guy who showered in the dark, but it was pretty much true, right? Like, I never looked in mirrors. I never did any of that because I wasn't happy with myself. I hated myself. Now that I love myself and I'm starting to be in love with myself, and it's not that I walk around staring at every mirror or staring at every reflection, but you know, I look every once in a while and I'm not disgusted. I don't feel gross. I don't feel unappealing. I don't I don't have the confidence I'm going to have. I don't feel the confidence that I yearn for. I don't feel the the strength or self worth in that category yet, right? About my looks, and that's fine, right? Because everybody has their own thing. Um, but compared to where I was 3 months ago, it's light years, and compared to where I'll be 3 months from now, it's nothing because it's a daily practice. It's a daily growth, and yeah, I mean, I, I can't say it without smiling and laughing, right? Like when I first started these lives back when it was Annie, living with Annie conversations with Mike back in July, I guess. Um, I don't remember smiling much. I don't remember laughing at myself or in a positive way, right? I mean, yeah, there was the connection that me and Annie have, and that's always there. But I wasn't the same person. I'm not. I wasn't then who I am now, or I'm wasn't who I am now back then. I don't know how to take this or how to say it. Um, but what I can say is it's kind of crazy. It really is crazy how the growth has snuck up on me, and it's amazing, right? It's truly amazing. Um, it's exciting. Yes, it is. It's I couldn't compare it to anything else in my life because I really don't remember when I've smiled anywhere near this much, like anywhere close. Um, it's funny. I'm not even close to the same person I used to be, and I'm so much happier, even with this circumstance. Like I took my kids to Walmart today, right? Long story, but I had to actually take them in the store. I'm never happy about that because that's just not fun, right? Single dad, 3 kids. No, it's not fun. Rhonda, I don't know if you have to go without your husband to the grocery store and take all 5 kids, but God bless you. Um, but like I'm walking through the store and you know, Tom Thomas was complaining about something, and I said to him, I said, Tom, you do realize that like I've been stranded here for 8 months, and sometimes aren't as good as others, and I'm doing the best I can today, and I'm being my best self, right? And it's not perfect because I think I got mad at him for something because he started throwing stuff in the carts. I mean, that's what kids do, right? I'm just the dad who, because of what they went through, I don't want to say no, so I just leave it there, get rid of something I want. Um, but anyway, went off on a tangent. This older woman approached me and said, it's not a bad place to be stranded, but I don't think you should be looking at where you're living as that way. And I said, I'm honestly stranded. I'm honestly stranded. Like I've been stuck here since before COVID. And she looked at me and she goes, I got to say, you're doing pretty good. And I said, yeah. And I shared a little bit of the story. And I said, I've only gone once without my kids. Like when my in-laws were here last week. First time I went to the store without my kids or went anywhere without my kids in 8 months. It's kind of crazy, but it really was. I guess Saturday too, when their mother picked them up for 10 hours. Um, that was strange, just so strange, because it's not the way I'm used to living right now. It wasn't uncomfortable; it was just strange. It was this refreshing feeling that was just. It was nice to have a little bit of freedom and have a little bit of myself, right? So the lady's talking about being stuck, and I looked at her and I said, I am stuck, and it's very difficult. 1,200 miles away from anybody, you know, anybody I know, anybody I want to spend time with, anyone I want to be around. it's very difficult at times to push through every day, right? By yourself, single dad. And then I told her, I said, but honestly, it is by far the best time of my life. It is by far the best 8 months that I have ever had consecutively in my life. And my kids are happy, and it is worth it. It is worth every minute. It is worth the hard times. It is worth the times that are difficult. It's worth the times that just are painful, and overwhelming. It's worth not sleeping as much as I want to, or not getting everything done on my timeline. Because again, it's my timeline, right? So when I really look at this, it's it's so interesting. It, yawning again. I can't imagine where I would be without these 8 months of my life. I can't imagine where I would be without this circumstance being forced upon me. And most people would look at me and say, you're nuts. Why would you ever wish something like this? And I said, it's not about wishing something like this. It's about accepting what's come my way, allowing it, and being my best self through it, right? I've been through a lot of crappy times. I've been through a lot of unfortunate circumstances throughout my life, a lot of them self created. But this is the biggest, greatest blessing of my life. The people that have come into my life, the people that I surround myself with, the people that I love, that I care about, the the work I've done on myself that will perpetuate my future growth and help my children to go through their growth, right? In a much healthier way. 2020 is the best year of my life so far. And I have no problem saying that. Yes, it's horrible. Yes, there's horrendous situations. Yes, it's horrible circumstances. But I really can't imagine if I would have done it any other way. And somebody, who was I talking to today? Somebody asked, oh, I was in a podcast actually. And somebody said to me, what do you think you would have done this if you were able to take your kids and go right home, right? Because I was telling the story about how I packed clothes for 4 days. What a crazy assumption that was. Now, granted, all the clothes that I had sent to me don't fit me anyway, so I don't understand why I wasted my time or money. Um, but I looked at her on the Zoom until my daughter decided to shut off the Wi-Fi halfway through my podcast interview. Um, I looked at her and I said, I don't know if I ever would have done this in my life if it wasn't for this circumstance forcing it upon me. And the people that have come into my life and the people that have made such a profound impact on me. Annie, Sherry, who I met through Annie, Andrea, who I met through Andrea Sanchez, who I found because of Gabe. Didn't meet through Gabe, but I did find her through Gabe, but because of Gabe. Um, Rhonda, Danette. I mean, there's so many. There's hundreds of people, right? Anna, uh, the list just goes on and on. Michelle, Stephen DeSade, Peter Clark, Jarris Tucker. I can list so many people that have had these profound impacts on me. Oh, look at that. Anna showed up. So let's see. A lot of times the change is good when it's not voluntary. Yes, without a doubt, 100%. That's so awesome to hear whenever we go through things like this. I think it's all perception. Hey Anna, hopefully you are enjoying your evening. Um, you know, it's looking at this circumstance, right? Whenever something happens, we have a choice. We have a lot of choices. Our choices are either to accept and allow. You're allowed to be late. Everybody's allowed to be late. It's all good. This is just my informal conversations that I have with Rhonda every night because Rhonda's always there and Rhonda's the best. I should introduce you two. You guys would get along great, Anna and Rhonda. Um, when you're faced with these unfortunate circumstances, and whatever it could be a death, it could be loss of yourself, it could be, I feel like I'm talking about my when I spoke during CAPD, Cloudy Day. Yeah, okay. Um, and I was talking about the power of loss, right? Like when you go through a loss like that, it comes down to the realization that you you guys are awesome. It comes down to when you process that loss, no matter what it is, big, small, financial, physical, mental, yourself, right? It's about losing yourself. Now, let's all keep in mind that losing yourself is not always a bad thing because during these 8 months, I've definitely lost myself. And it's the best thing I ever did, right? And I mean, I'll forever, for the rest of my life, give credit to Annie because even the simple words that she sent me the day before I got my kids back, gave me the strength and energy to get my kids back. Gave me that sliver of hope, right? That 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 one thing that I could hold on to force it to happen, to feel it to happen, and to will it to happen, to put my energy into the universe for it to happen. And I'll never forget that. But then I also realized that even before that, through many times and dark times and crappy times in my life, it was slivers of hope that got me through. And I created it through business because business for me was always a way to one, be creative, right? Because I'm very creative business wise. But it was a way for me to reach beyond myself and find something to look forward to. And it's amazing. That sliver of hope changes everything. The sliver of hope, that glimpse, that just enough is so magical and so powerful that you can turn that into anything. And sometimes you just need the sliver of hope. And it's not about manifesting. It also, I think when we find that hope, we also find our truer selves. And when we find our truer selves, everything just starts falling in place for us. And it goes back to the point of my topic today, which we went way roundabout. But the point is, if we just allow, and if we just accept, and if we just be present, everything works itself out. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to force explain yourself to people. You don't have to, apologize when you have a bad moment because anybody who's around you at that moment will understand that's not who you are. You're just having an off moment. And that's where the gut checks come in, right? It's that, excuse me, overwhelming sense that it will all, yes, surrender exactly and allow. Oh, 100% does it ever. Hope hope has hope has the power to change everything for someone. And it doesn't matter what the hope is. It could be a single change in words being used. It could be hope of a new job, hope of a new career, hope of what that career can bring, hope of creating something new because you feel displaced because where you used to fit, you don't fit anymore. It could be hope of new friendships, new relationships, new building blocks. It could be pure just hope, just finding that silver lining,
finding something that you can grab onto and use it as a life raft. I've talked about this many times about how Annie was my lighthouse, right? Because when she found me, it was the darkest moments of my life, and I felt like I was drowning, and I felt like even being sober 14 and a half years, even everything I've went through, even all the times I died, they were never as dark as that moment because I would never wish anybody finding out about their children getting harmed and feeling so helpless and then self-blaming and everything else, right? That comes with that. And that's where I was at that moment. I was really just losing hope and losing all of it. Um, so I call her my lighthouse because she showed me hope again. She showed me that there was a possibility. And it didn't mean that she was the person that she is today, right? Because she's evolving too. She's working really hard and being her best self and so amazing in her best ways possible, right? And just being so genuine, so raw, so vulnerable, so real. Um, and it's beautiful to watch, right? And it's nice to know that she's helped me get there and I've helped her get there, and that we're going to continue helping each other get further. Um, and when you find people like that in your life that you're able to help or that can help you, and you allow, because it really comes down to allowing and surrendering, like you said, Anna. That goes back, I guess, to the 12-step program that, I don't talk much about my experience in it, but um, because I didn't really like the rooms after I got sober and was sober for a little while. I found it toxic, but it it's truly amazing. Surrendering is the most powerful thing ever, which I think Annie said last night during her live. I think she said it today too. Uh, but it's so important to surrender, to allow, to give up, to give over, not give up, but give over. Hand over to your higher power. Right now, that's straight from the steps and stuff like that. But it's just amazing. It's so amazing and so beautiful. And as humans, we want to control everything. We want to believe that we have the illusion of control over any aspect of our lives, which we really don't. All we can control is how we react to our lives and how we react to everybody in our lives. That's the only thing that we can control. Everything else is outside of us. And the quicker we realize that, the quicker we get to that point, the better off we are. Um, but that's okay. It's when you get to that magical place, right? And I've been there a few times across my life. Um, I've been awake off and on for the last 12, 13 years, seriously awake. And then I originally woke up when I was 5. So it, looking back, there was moments and glimpses of that peace feeling. And right now I have it. Right now I am so content with my life in every way possible. And it doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean everything's exactly where I want it to be. But it means that I'm happy where I'm at. I'm content where I'm at. And I know it's only going to get better. I have faith in that. I have faith in the work that I'm putting in. I have faith in the people that I've surrounded myself with. I have faith in my higher power. I have faith in myself. And I've started to trust myself. I've started to believe in myself. I'm starting to build that worth up. And I'm starting to really give myself credit for the work I've done. And that's always been the hardest thing for me. But I'm going to go because I'm hitting 30 minutes. And even though you guys are there, and I do appreciate you both, I love you both. It's amazing. And the interaction's great. But being on screen alone at times for 30 minutes gets a little difficult. Not only that, I don't even think I had a drink of water yet because my throat's dry. But both of you have an amazing night. Rhonda, I'll talk to you in the morning. Anna, if I probably won't talk to you because you've got to be at the airport early. But have an amazing trip, and we will catch up soon. And I'm here if anybody needs me. Thank you guys both. I appreciate you greatly, and I'll be back tomorrow night. All right.